The Your Voice in Power Hour on the My Voice in Power show for Unity Live Radio. Hello and welcome to the Your Voice in Power Hour. Can you tell us your names and a bit about yourselves?
Okay, my name is George Matthew. I work for the Alliance for Cohesion and Racial Equality. We're based in a centre on Oxford Road, and the project we're working on is the Vaccine Champion Stroke Health Champion project, which I'm the coordinator. I'm the Community Health Champion Coordinator for this particular project.
Hello, my name is Sarah O'Donnell and I work with George at Acre, and I help to coordinate and liaise between the community vaccine champions and the people who are running events, and we also run our own events.
Okay, so can you tell us a bit more about the vaccine coordination that you do? Like, what does it entail?
The idea, I mean, the project started somewhere around in May, around May 2022, when Reading Borough Council was trying to sort of promote more people in Reading to take up the vaccine. When they found there was a certain cohort of people who had not taken the vaccine for different reasons, for many different reasons. And so the idea was to try and inform the community out there what the vaccine was, where you can actually get it, and the reasons for taking it. And so the concept came about how do we actually then get to those communities. And so we thought, okay, if we can find people that were part of that community, train them into becoming health champions, vaccine champions, then they could go back into the community and provide that information. So they're inside the community already. It didn't really need somebody from the outside coming in. And so we started looking at people who actually had known, or people who actually were connected, or were volunteers, or quite getting them interested in what we were doing, and also then what which we're very pleased about was that Reading Borough Council, particularly the public health officials, who I have to say we had complete backup with, would also provide training, and we had a very high quality level of training for anybody who wanted to become a health champion. So all health champions had to go through a 2.5 hour training on how to sort of communicate with people in the communities about the vaccine and health in general. And I think it was based on something called Make Every Contact.
Had an induction, and they had basic training in the Making Every Contact Count, which is a way of actually opening up conversations around health with other people without coming across as being patronising or preaching, or without telling other people what was good for them. So what we do believe that if you look at the relative risk between having the vaccine and not having the vaccine, that it is better for us as a society to actually take the vaccine, but we're not willing to fall out with anybody who doesn't agree with us, but we want to be able to build bridges with people who are maybe skeptical of getting the vaccine or even anti-vaccine, so that we can have a measured, controlled conversation. So the importance was to get our point of view across without trying to coerce other people or without trying to bully other people. So, and to make people just think sometimes about, where did I get my information from? Is there any scientific proof, for example, that there's a tracker in the vaccine? Is there any proof that it's going to affect people's fertility? And also to be honest about it, and not to say that that there aren't any side effects, because there are side effects from taking the vaccine, but to give a complete holistic picture of what taking the vaccine can mean for us as individuals and also as a society. So we also did some training in understanding mental health issues, because that was something where we see and we know affect many people within our communities, whether that's to do with the vaccine or not, but certainly with COVID and the isolation and the money issues and energy, spiraling energy costs. We've also done some, we've done some training with as I said, with mental health, and we also have online network meetings where we train people or advise, give them the advice about where the health champions, that they can actually tell other people where they can go to actually access the vaccine, because that changes. And hopefully, if we've got more time, I can come back to that later, to tell people where they can access both the flu and the COVID vaccine in Reading. So we want to make sure that everybody knows really what the local resources are. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's changed now, hasn't it? Doctors' surgeries aren't giving it like they were before. You have to go to different places and things like that. So the training that you had, did that initially come from health professionals who, like, I don't know, like doctors and nurses and things like that?
No, the training that we had initially came from somebody whose background actually was in health, but the training that we're given, we're not being trained to give any medical advice or to behave as though we're health professionals. What we were trained in,
health in general, and make it sort of comfortable for people to talk about it, and through that get them to make the decision that they want to make.
But do you think it would have helped your cause if you'd have had information from medical professionals as well?
Yeah, we do have that. We had a brilliant online training from a GP, for example, who talked us at length, and it was a very successful event. We invited her again, about the vaccine, in particular, the particulars of the vaccine, about the vaccine. Abid is one of the top vaccine people in the country, and he's going to be coming, and he's going to be coming to talk about the topic he's talking about is debunking vaccine myths. And that's at the Globe on the 18th of October. He's going to be there from 6:30 onwards, and it's open to the public. And we'd like people to come. We've tried to publicize it as much as we can. But just to say that's again something. So we always have that in mind. We're trying to get somebody from the pharmacy world to come and talk to us about pharmacies and how what their role is. So we are trying to spread that as much as we can in terms of sort of increasing the knowledge base of our volunteers.
We also have had events where we've had health professionals actually speaking to members of the public, and our health champions have been there in a supporting role. And we also work with other community charities who have put on health events or have had vaccination clinics, and then our health champions come and they actually support the public coming in and support the professionals there. So yes, it is medically, we do have the medical background is there, but it doesn't come from our health champions. We merely facilitate and help people and spread the news. Yeah, it's more of a public health thing, I suppose, really. Health role. Yeah.
Okay, so 2 questions. Is the event at the Globe free?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
And there are refreshments.
And there's refreshments. And yeah, it is free.
Okay, lovely. And the other question is, so you're using the words health champions a lot. Can you give us a bit more of a detailed description about what that is about? Because I would assume as a health champion, your role isn't just to do with COVID vaccinations, it's to do with health in general.
That's correct. The Making Every Contact Count training is a training that can be applied to many different aspects of health. And of course, as we all know, health is a very broad church, really. So what we're trying to do as well, and getting our health champions to do, is, for example, we've given them a logbook so that when they have conversations with people, that they can just make a little note about the medical and the social issues that are affecting people in society, things such as isolation, diabetes, So we are encouraging our health champions to get to know their local community centres, so that they can help deal with isolation in the public as well, by saying, well, there are events on, there's a drop-in cafe, there's an over 50s event on this day. So yeah, that's correct. That's correct. And we encourage our health champions to be able to look up the NHS website to find information out, or the Reading Cancer Services Guide, so that if they're talking to somebody who's saying, well, I really don't know where to go about this, we can either signpost the person digitally, or we can actually look up. We've also shown people how to use the NHS app. So it can start off as a vaccine thing initially, but obviously, wellness is not achieved through a vaccine alone. It's just much, much bigger than that. But we had to have an entry point, and we're hoping that we can broaden out. And we do have many of our health champions are actually medically trained as well. Pharmacists, medical students, diabetic nurses. But we wanted a broad range of people. We wanted people who were not medically trained, and people who could have a conversation with other people in their own peer groups and in their own communities, because I think people don't like to people like to get expert information, but sometimes they just want to chat to people as well and say, well, I'm a little bit worried about this, and they don't want somebody telling them. So we're trying to encourage everybody to get involved, because after all, health is everybody's business.
Yeah, it is. I like that. Much like it takes a village to raise a child, and obviously we're a community, and we can only be a community if everybody is actively involved. So
absolutely. And we really believe, first of all, that one of the great advantages of having this diverse network of health champions is that people are meeting people from within other ethnic communities or religious communities, and we're all working together as a cohesive force. But as well as that, we're talking to people out there who have very, very opposing views perhaps to us, but we're doing it in a way that we're trying to build bridges. We're trying to get, so even if we don't change somebody's mind about the vaccine, or if they, not that we're trying to force anyone anyway, we know we can have a conversation, that they can come back and they will trust us, and they might be able to ask us about other things that are bothering them. So it's a win-win, We just want to break down all this partisanship in society. There's a big division at the moment. It seems that if people don't agree, they have to be on opposing sides. We don't want that. We want to build connections between people, and that's, to us, is just as important from a health perspective as anything else.
So for someone, say if you tried to conversate with them, they don't want to have the vaccination, are you still there to support them?
Absolutely, because it's their life and it's their health. But we would like them to maybe we would talk about perhaps why don't you want to have it. They might say they're worried about the side effects, and we would agree, yes, there can, there are side effects, and not everybody gets them, but some people do get, and have serious side effects as well. I
think one of the plus points is that we've had, which is why is that they've been over the period of the last 3-4 months, there've been periods like exactly the same. There've been people who have not taken the vaccine, but at the same time, I have to also say that there have been people who have come forward and taken the vaccine. There's been, so for example, we had the even we had the pop-up vaccines here where we are based, and we had altogether about 12 or 14 people come simply come and take the vaccine. We had one at Reading College, and that was, we had about 25-30 young people, take the vaccine. And plus, on top of that, also, which is something that we also take seriously, are the conversations that we have with people. And one of the things we decided to do as an idea that came out of the project was to give each champion a conversation logbook, so that when they had a conversation with anybody, they would lock it down, and so that we would have then a sense of what people are talking about in their communities, what were the key issues that they felt were coming out, other than just to do the vaccine. So, and very soon we're going to try and collate all that information together and see whether we can.
And it's all anonymized. It's not, we weren't recording people's details or anything, but just what were people worried about?
Yeah, what people were worried about. So I think as a fairly new concept, we're trying to say that this is something that that works, I think, and has worked well. I mean, obviously, Acre as an organization has been around for some time, has those sort of links to the community, so we are able to recruit people from the community to become champions. And obviously, we'd like to see whether we can expand on that as we go along. But the project is coming to, this is the second phase of the project, and October 31st will be the sort of end of the second project, and then second phase, sorry, and then we're going to try and see whether that, see whether we can take that further into a different phase, and that's where we've sort of come to. But the thing that I want to really emphasize is that it's the volunteers have worked together in order to bring to sort of bring together other communities and make sure that really we live in a much more healthier environment than it is now.
And we'd like to publicly thank our volunteers. They've been absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
They've given of their time. They've just been absolutely fabulous. And the project could not have had any success if it weren't for people who, are just brilliant. They're just brilliant.
Yeah, and they really are the health they really are health champions. They're championing health out there, and they've been brilliant.
So I can see from your faces, but I'm going to ask anyway because obviously the listeners cannot see you. Do you feel like you're making a difference? Because I think one of the hardest things when you do these roles is that sometimes it can be so emotionally draining, and if you don't feel like you're making a difference, that can make it even harder. Yeah, do you feel like you're making
very, very, very insightful question. Yes, very, very good. I really feel like we are making a difference. I feel that actually I have met personally, and I'm a health champion as well, I've met so many people. I've gone to refugee drop-in centres. I've met people from different communities. I've gone into different religious organisations, and it's been absolutely wonderful because personally I've made new friends. And I feel much more comfortable around people perhaps that I wouldn't have spent time with before. And, being able to actually talk and have decent conversations with people is just wonderful, and that's, and to talk to someone, to listen to what they have to say, that makes a big difference to members of the public as well, who, may have traditionally been talked down to or lectured at. So yeah, we're empowering people to take control of their own health, to make decisions, to look up information, and so of course, I believe it's making a big difference.
I mean, I echo that because I think, Reading is a it's a seriously diverse community we live in. So it's a type of society where we want to make sure that people. This is one of the reasons why Acre exists, is to have that sort of cohesiveness amongst ourselves. We know there are issues out there that have not been reconciled or solved, but I mean, but I think that within the health parameters, I just get a sense that this is something that that does work. But at the same time, there's no doubt it does take. There's a lot of time and effort, and particularly I think from the administrative, is because you're dealing with. We had a total of 40 champions, in a space of 3 to 4 months. So there's a lot of administrative work that has to go in, and that's something that we never envisaged before starting it. But that's part of the thing, and that's something that we try to get on top of, because obviously, if more and more champions come on board, then that thing is going to increase. The other thing also I wanted to say is that over the period of the last few months or so, we've now got a sense. We've already clearly inertia about what health champions are, but we're getting a sense of what So if somebody says to you, "Hi Nasha, I'm a health champion," you immediately know what that means. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That's the sort of thing that we're working towards. So when somebody says, "I'm a health champion," anybody that they're talking to say, "Oh yeah, I know exactly who you are, what type of service that you're going to be providing me. And that, I think, the more that gets solidified with in the next few months as we carry on, I think then I see it that as an established project.
Yeah, so it's almost giving people a sense of safety upon meeting you. Hello, I'm a health champion. And then immediately they know that they can talk to you about anything. They can trust you. They can open
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's
Absolutely.
going to be confidential, it's going to be anonymous, and it's not going to be coercive or directive in any way. Yeah.
So how do you guys cope with your own mental health, taking on all of these various situations from all of these diverse people?
Another very good question. Yeah.
I swim.
Swim.
I swim.
Yeah.
I swim, and I play some music, and what I do is there's a lot of pain in the world, and I always think about the world a little bit like a coin with two faces, and I when you can look too much at the face of one coin, one face rather than the other. But what I try to do is, especially if things are a little bit overwhelming, I try to find the joy. And it could be a child running down the street, skipping along, or a duck in a river. I try to look for the little things that spark joy, and I try to enjoy those things while I can. Because I have struggled with mental health issues in the past, with depression, and I try to keep myself in balance. I need to do some exercise. I need to eat reasonably well, and I have to meet friends and laugh, and that usually keeps me on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, I mean, in my case, I think anybody who's anybody who's worked in the voluntary sector in particular will know that it's quite an intense job, because you're dealing with people all the time, and you're dealing sometimes with a large number of people. So sometimes I think I walk everywhere. So I tend to walk, and so as I'm walking, I sort of think, and then I catch buses. I don't drive, so that on the one hand that keeps you physically fit.
Yeah.
That's a deliberate choice. And I like walking around Reading because you see things. And we are based on Oxford Road, so you can observe things, see people, and I like that. And that sort of it keeps me grounded. And then obviously I've got my own family there to support me. And like Sarah said, it's good to have also a good circle of friends around you that you can sort of socialize with. And that I think the thing that I don't I try to not do is try not to isolate myself too much, because sometimes you tend to sort of, when things get too much, you want to just be by yourself, and that can sort of isolate you sometimes for too long. I'd rather be out there, but having breaks, meditating a little bit for a while, those things I think are key. It's just having, giving your mind a mental break.
Yeah.
The voluntary sector is intense.
Very lucky in Reading as well, because we have Compass Recovery College, who, for people who are experiencing any loneliness, they can go there. They provide free workshops for people.
Yeah,
they're really great organisation.
Yeah, Compass Recovery, which is funded by Rainbow Council, they have some brilliant projects. Really, I mean, anybody who in terms of, particularly in terms of creativity, theatre, art. I would recommend Compass if anybody wants to get a sense of,
the week, haven't they?
They have,
I think it's in the New Biscuit Factory or somewhere. I think but it's definitely, there's a lovely chap called Mark runs it. It's definitely worth having a look at.
Yeah. Have you got all the information on their website? Yeah. Compass. They call Compass.
Okay.
Again, we do. Have you heard of them?
I have, yeah, from the Thursday chats. My other question that I have for you is, how do you connect then with the working people? Because obviously not everyone will have access to your service. If they're at work, how do they get supported by you?
Yeah. At the moment, we're still trying to, one of the things that we decided to do over the period was to do at least a web page of community health champions on the Acre website. That's still an ongoing thing, but we thought we would do that. We've also now, Acre itself has temporarily has appointed a media officer. So we'd like that media officer now start using the social platforms that are available out there, and publicize the championship, the champions, and also the Acre events much more than we did before. And that's one of the ways that we thought we'd reach people who are out of hours.
Also, our health champion training, some has been after hours. It's been like after work hours, and some has been during the day, so that we've tried to throw the net as widely as possible. And the events that we support, some of them will be weekend events, some of them are community centres. So, yeah.
So we've got another major event happening on the 23rd of October at the Pakistani Community Centre. That's on a Sunday. Okay. And that's from 11 o'clock to 3 p.m. And we're trying to get a GP, we're trying to get a pharmacist, we're going to get somebody from Slimming World to talk about diets. We're going to have a number of stalls there, and that's organized by health champions from the Pakistani Community Centre. And then we decided to do it on a Sunday, so that's the time we thought that people would be able to come and visit it. So we're very, very aware of
everybody.
It's open to everybody. All these events actually open to everybody who just wants to, pop in. Yeah, I mean that's the way we've been very flexible about timing, because we understand, the 9 to 5 thing that people are in. So days, yeah.
Oh, thank you very much, guys. Just so you know, I like to end my interviews with 4 favourite songs from the person I've spoken to. Obviously, I've spoken to 2 of you today, so you get to pick 2 each.
Number 1 from me, Stockton's Wing, Beautiful Affair.
For me, I think always the first one for me, always, because I always remember the words, is definitely a redemption song by Bob Marley. It's very close to me. And then I love Stand By Me by Benny King.
My second one is going to be Salisbury Hill by Peter Gabriel, because it always makes me feel really happy.
So it was lovely to speak to you both.
Thanks so much, Nash. It's been a great experience.
If you would like your voice to be heard on the Your Voice in Power Hour, then why not get in touch with me at myvoiceinpower@outlook.com.